Hi, I'm Mark Van Veen, Canadian Sales Manager for Salford, and here I have the Sniper. The Sniper is a dry fertilizer spreader capable of 120-foot swath with the correct product that has sectional control. It has the ability to put 12 sections of 10 foot, and as you cross boundaries and or move it in, to be able to give you wider and narrower swath. And what makes it work is amazingly simple mechanical parts and extremely complex computer algorithms. So let's do the simple stuff. There is a left-hand chain and a right-hand chain, and we control the volume of material coming out on each chain by a hydraulic motor on each side. And so the computer basically does a calculation on the gate size, how fast the chain is turning, and to figure out how much material is needed at the speed that we're going, and for the width of the swath and the speed. So the computer, there's a controller in the front that controls each one of the chain movements. The material comes off the chains and eventually comes down through the dividers onto the spinners. And where you drop dry fertilizer off a chain onto a spinner, whether it's here, here, or here, determines how far that particle will throw. And you'll also notice that we have two different lengths of knives or fins on the dishes here that also, allow it to throw. So as an example, if we drop fertilizer here, it will spin it that far. On the same fin, it will throw it further because it has more capacity and more force as it's coming off. So where you drop the material on the fin determines how far it goes. We set the dividers here as the material comes off, can pull in and out to drop it on the exact location of the spinner. Also, the speed at which the spinner is turning will determine how far it throws as well. So there's basically three different functions that we control. One is the chain speed for the volume. Two is the location of the dividers on where it's going to drop it onto the spinner. And then finally, the speed of the spinner. So as you're driving down the field, say you're doing 120-foot swath, and then you need to have it down to an 80-foot swath, the computer does all the calculations and goes, well, we need less material, so we got to slow the chain down. We also need to throw it less distance, so we need to place the fertilizer on a different part on the knife, and we also most likely need to throw or slow the spinners down a little bit too. So we have algorithms in the computer that do all those calculations ongoing and simultaneously. On the front of the Sniper, there is 4 different PWMs, pulse width modulation valves, and what they do is control individual functions. So this one is the spinner for the left-hand side. On the far side is the spinner for the right-hand side, and this one is the chain speed for left hand and chain speed for right hand. So the computer goes to these, and these control all the oil flow to those various functions in order for them to run at the preset rate. So basically, like I said, it's mechanically it's an extremely simple machine. The controls are quite complex, but that's what computers do, and do it very, very efficiently. So our machine, once again, at the price of fertilizer, of course, in the environmental concern, you want the right product at the right place at the right time, is capable of doing that with what we have here. So that's the Sniper in a nutshell.